All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to day 3. Today is day 3 of the Personal Brand Launch Summit. And man, this is going to be a really important session of the entire 4-day series because this is the one that everyone always asks the most questions about: how to make money with my personal brand. And this is going to be the conversation that many of you have been waiting for clarity, because a lot of people talk about how to build a brand and how to monetize a brand, but a lot of people don't give the strategic steps to actually execute and doing that effectively with your actual reputation online in the digital space. So I'm so excited to jump and dive in. We have a lot to cover today, so no time to waste. It's 12 p.m. on the dot. Let's go. Let's get started. Okay. So yesterday we had a really great conversation about how to build, not only how to just define your brand, but how to build and grow your personal brand digitally. And we actually addressed some of the skills that you need to actually monetize and grow your brand. And a lot of people realize that some of the difficulties people are facing when it comes to building and monetizing their brand is that they take for granted the skill set it requires to actually really do this organically and systematically, right? And so what this conversation yesterday did was, not only did it show you the steps that we discussed, and I'll go over that in a second, but it really put to the forefront why you need to really flex this muscle of learning how to do this throughout your career, because you don't know when you're going to need to be more of a speaker, more of a publisher, how to pitch and market yourself, how to really be organized with your time so you don't experience burnout. Because being someone who's purposeful and intentional about your personal brand requires a lot of not just thought leadership, but management skills. It's how to really take on opportunities that make sense and how to decline opportunities that don't align and don't fit what you're trying to do, right? So these skill sets were very, very important. And of course, in looking at the path of really building and monetizing your brand, and we talk about the 4-step pillars that we've been talking about throughout this summit, where phase 1 of you being intentional about monetizing, building, and growing your personal brand with purpose start with you having the foundations of defining your brand. I see so many people jump online, they start talking, they start posting, they start doing all of the things, but they have not really discovered what is their talent, what is their unique selling position point, what makes them so different and so unique and so magnetic that when people connect with them, they want to work with that person specifically. 10 people can have expertise on how to build a business, but there's a reason why you select certain people to work with, because you're like, that person aligns with my values, that person aligns with my story, that person's relatable, that person's inspiring, that person is empowering. You are able to make decisions on certain people based on that person having the capacity to go through that self-discovery. And we talked about the steps it takes for you to actually take a step back, and it doesn't take long, but take a step back to understand and assess what are your skills, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, and where do you identify the gaps and opportunities and figure out your story. So the outcome of going through this phase 1 process is you having a bio and a story that attracts, that makes you magnetic, that makes people want to align not only with your journey as you're building your brand, as you're building your businesses, as you're building your portfolio, your career, but align with every step of the way. This is why there's certain people, no matter what they do in their career, people are for them and with them because they have created and shared a story that's so authentically unique that people align with that. So that's the first phase. The second phase, which is what we covered yesterday, is about how to grow your brand and how to grow your brand peacefully, okay? Because so many people are burning out on social media. I am not someone who promotes doing 1,000 different posts per day, doing the TikTok reels, doing this. No offense to those who do, but it's one thing to do it for fun. It's another thing to do because you feel like that's the only way to get visibility. You do not need to be a running mill of social media posts to be relevant in today's market. Now I know attention is a huge currency, but you're going to learn how to attract and build an audience based on value. And the outcome is you having a strong digital presence that works for you and not against you, right? So that's what we covered yesterday. So today we're going to talk about how to monetize your brand, how to learn how to turn your skills and your journey, because it's not just about your skills. People connect with people through their stories. I know who told you this, where some of you are coming into these conversations thinking like, oh, but I'm more talented than this person. I have more degrees than this person. I have more skills than this person. It doesn't matter. People align and connect to people through stories, right? So once people are invested in your story, in your journey, then they want to tap into the skill set that you have to provide. So learning how to do that so you could tap into and create multiple consistent revenue streams is the name of the game, where you now have a launch plan to launch multiple different services and products to serve your audience. And finally, the last part of this journey is learning how to scale your brand to international markets, to different industries, right? Where you are now looking at your life and your career as a canvas, right? Where you're seeing, like, I want to launch a book. I want to do an event. I want to travel the world. I want to go on tour. I want to serve this community. I want to serve this community. You look at your life and you're creating a blueprint for impact at this point, because now you figured out those three parts that we talked about: how to define your brand, grow your brand, and monetize your brand. And as you're scaling with purpose and integrity. And this 4-part process is literally the secret of the game that I have done countless times in my journey of building and monetizing my brand, really for the past 15, 20 years, right? Even prior to being an entrepreneur, I knew how important it is to have a reputation that stood for something. This is the reason why I have been inviting many of you to join me to go beyond this 4-day summit and say, like, look, let us take a leap of faith, and let's not just learn about how to build our personal brand. Let's actually execute on that. I invite you again to join me for the Personal Brand Accelerator program, for this 4-week live course. Again, I emphasize live because I could just record it and give you the skill set that you need and you can move forward, right? But the reason why I'm doing it live is because I want to be able to coach you, mentor you, and give you perspective, see your challenges, see your highs and lows, and interact with you, and for you to have that experience with a cohort of people who are also going through that journey, are at different stages of the journey. Yes, some people are trying to build, some people are trying to monetize, some people are trying to launch, but you being humbled and inspired by multiple people on the same path as you. And I recently announced, for the first time, I'm opening up the doors to the Personal Brand Fellowship to be able to work with me throughout the year, for an entire year, for 12 months. I've never, ever offered such a powerful offering to my community ever before. This is the first time I'm doing this. I don't know if I will do this again. And many of you, I'm so excited, especially yesterday, signed up in droves for the Personal Brand Accelerator, and many of you already signed up for the Personal Brand Fellowship. And like I said, I only have 10 spots for this. And so I'm really, really proud of those of you who made that decision. You're not waiting till tomorrow, which is the deadline, to jump in. You guys made the decision because you know what you want to do with 2025 and make this your breakthrough year. So I'm so proud of many of you. And I invite the rest of you who are trying to make a decision on where you want to go with your career, with your life, with your journey, to actually make a decision today. Because the price of indecision, I made an article about this, is so costly right now in today's economy that it is not worth you trying to figure and scatterbrain and figure this out when it's almost already too late, right? The market is getting more competitive. More people, I look on my LinkedIn feed, almost everybody and their mama are talking about how to build a personal brand. And I laugh sometimes. I'm like, half of these people don't even have a personal brand to begin with, but almost everyone now is talking about how important it is to build and monetize your personal brand. Everyone's talking about it, right? So that has evolved drastically in the past 10 years, because I've been in this game for multiple years, and I will tell you, I'm shocked to see the high level of content creators and entrepreneurs and corporate professionals who are now making this the forefront and priority for 2025, and it's for good reason. The economy is forcing people to take their reputation seriously, because for some of you, when you get laid off from the job, when your businesses is not, generating the revenue that wants this, your reputation is all you got, right, to fall back on. Right. And so, as stated before, the investment to join the Personal Brand Accelerator program is $2,497, or a payment plan, or you could join us for the Personal Brand Fellowship. And as stated before, because this is the inaugural launch of this program, we have a crazy offering package, which is honestly just ridiculous. And that's the reason why some of you already signed in, right? Because you won't be able to find 1 year of coaching and mentorship to this extent anywhere else, right? And so with that said, we already went through the fast foundations of how to define your personal brand on day one. And that was for many of you. Some of you have gained new levels of clarity with your brand in ways that you did not expect, right? Yesterday, we talked about how to grow your personal brand and how to really leverage social media to work for you and not against you, okay? Now, today, we're going to dive into the monetization part, how to make money with your personal brand. And this is where I want to take this in a different approach, where you're not just going to learn how to create and launch and manage digital products, but how to really think of specific ways to package your expertise into very lucrative, sustainable, consistent financial income streams. Okay? Because some of you have heard people monetize their brand, but that doesn't mean they're consistent with it. Okay? That doesn't mean they're doing it on a consistent basis where they can live off of it. Some people, it's random. They get a gig here, they get a gig here. That is not the monetization path that I want for you. That's not what I want for you. I want you to be able to say, no, this year, I'm going to be able to do X, Y, Z. Right? This year, I'm going to be able to generate this amount of revenue in 2 months, in 2 weeks, in 2 days. Comment cash flow. If you want to have a serious stream of cash flow with your expertise this year, comment cash flow. I want to make sure that I'm talking to the right people, that you guys recognize what I'm putting out here, that this is not just about you monetizing your brand once a year or randomly every 2 years or just by happen chance through some course that you launch. This is about monetizing your brand in a way that you can actually have a life with, that you could plan ahead. You could plan out vacations and, tours and travels, because not only the value of your brand, but the outcome of what you put out there to the community, to the world, when you put yourself out there. The value of that cash flow, right? So some of you are putting in their cash flow. Great. Okay. So that is very important. Very, very important that you guys understand that and you recognize that and you want to have that in your life. Okay. So with that said, let's talk about this. Let's talk about cash flow. Okay. How many of you are working a job right now? Comment job. If you are working a 9-to-5 job, there's nothing wrong with it. This is how many people make their money. The majority of the planet are professionals. So comment job if you got a job. Okay. And for many of you, if you have a 9-to-5 job, that's your one stream of income. What happens if you get laid off and that one stream of income goes away? What happens? What do you do? A lot of you immediately go to work to try to apply to another job and get into the same cycle of looking for another one stream of income. That's the cycle. Get into one job, one stream of income. You get off track. You try to find another job, one stream of income again. Now, some of you are like, oh, well, that's why I decided to be an entrepreneur. So that way I don't have to depend on that one stream of income. Okay, so let's talk about my entrepreneurs. Again, revenue generating business. What happened if you have a bad year and your CEO salary as an entrepreneur or the stipend that you give yourself through the business is not making as many revenue? For a lot of people, the past 2 years has been the hardest years of business for anyone in the entrepreneurial space. I'm telling you this right now. I'm someone who have an entire organization training thousands of entrepreneurs every single year, which is the global startup ecosystem. So I have the stats and the data to tell you that the hardest years in business for many entrepreneurs around the world, no matter what market they are in, Caribbean, Africa, Middle East, Asia, or the Americas, the past 2 years was very difficult. So what happens for my entrepreneurs who like to brag, well, that's why I became an entrepreneur. Sometimes you guys are full-time entrepreneurs, but you're still stuck in the same bucket. One revenue stream. What happens when that goes away? What do? You hustle and go for gigs. Some entrepreneurs go back to get a job. No harm, no foul. I'm not judging anyone. But a lot of entrepreneurs have to do that. They need the stability. They go back to trying to get that revenue stream. That one revenue stream of stability. But let's look at this differently. How would it feel instead of having one revenue stream? How would it feel for you to now move forward and now have 7 revenue streams? Simply because you made an intentional decision today to focus on prioritizing your personal brand. Where whether you get a job and the job doesn't, want to pay you anymore, and they say like they're dropping you from the roster, whether you have a business where there's a bad year in business, and I've had that across because I have a business portfolio of 4 businesses, and I'll tell you there are some great years and there are some bad years. But my personal brand has been consistent, right? What happens? We have now 7 streams of income and not just one. It gives you a level of confidence and intent and security of purpose that any of these attributes of being an entrepreneur or just being a corporate professional can never, ever give you. And I hear a lot of people say, well, when you work a 9 to 5, it's job security, it's income security. It's not. Because all it takes is one decision from the person at the top up to say that you are no longer a part of this institution and you're back at square one. But your personal brand is timeless. The only person who could fire you from opportunity is you when you build your personal brand. That is the only thing you depend on, you. And a lot of you, I think you are willing to take the bet on yourself, right? So with that said, when we're looking at the financial foundations that you will be building, and this is something I go through over in the Personal Brand Accelerator program, right? How to actually monetize your personal brand. The 7 different ways to do this is, first and foremost, and I say this all the time, is having a product discovery plan. So many people come online and tell you there's 100 different ways to monetize your brand, but you got to go through the discovery process of selecting the right product plan for you. Not everyone should be launching courses. Not everyone should be launching conferences. Not everyone should be launching consulting or contracts, right? By having a discovery plan and seeing what the options are and looking at your schedule, because some people launch certain products based on the schedule. I know when I was on maternity leave, I heavily depended on my course sales. When I was, touring and really building and scaling my brand, I heavily relied on conference revenue, right? Where I had an annual event and that was monetizing at 6 figures every time, right? So that discovery plan, which is what we go through in the Personal Brand Accelerator program, is walking you through, here are all the different ways to monetize your brand, but let's discover the right fit for you based on your skill set, your timeline right now, where you are in your career, your capacity, and where you want to be in the next couple of years, right? A lot of you probably never heard of that process before, but it's an extremely important process. I've seen so many people launch product that didn't fit their skill set or didn't fit their timeline. They weren't ready for it, right? The second thing is, once you make that decision, product offer creation, create the product. And this is something that we go deep into, is how to create a product without creating the product. Being able to get your first client before you delve down into the weeds of actually building out that platform. It is a completely radical way of creating digital products where the only initial investment that you put out there is really a flyer. How many of you want to run experiments to see what you could do with your expertise in personal brand through just like maybe 10 flyers, as opposed to you spending hours and months creating a course only for nobody to buy it? How many of you want the easy way to be able to figure out and experiment on how to create a product that works for your brand? Common easy, if that's the path you want to take. You don't want to do it the hard way. You want to do it the easy way. I experiment all the time with my personal brand, and literally the only investment it takes is a 5-minute Canva flyer. That is it. Truly a remarkable thing, right? And then I always say this: once you create your first product and you build traction, then you start to think of a product offer suite where you're offering multiple products for different stages of your community, right? So some people might, want a full program, a full accelerator program. Some people might want a full year program like what I'm offering. Some people might just want a workshop, right? You start to now create a product suite of different opportunities for people to be able to work with you and engage with you, right? Number 4 is now optimizing this, because every single year you got to evaluate the services and the ways that you offer value to your community. And some topics or conversations are no longer relevant. So for me, I make sure that with my 3 signature programs, there's a synergy and a connection where when someone's coming into my world, a lot of times people have come through my speaker program. because it's pretty much showing you how to monetize your brand through public speaking engagements. And once someone goes through that program, a lot of times people say, oh, let me come through your personal brand accelerator program, because now I can go beyond speaking engagements and monetize across multiple channels. Whereas I've had people say like, no, actually, I want to learn everything and then narrow down my focus because I'm not ready to hit stages, right? It depends on the person, but there's a connection and a synergy to be able to do that, right? Optimization. And making sure that your delivery, how you service people who are clients and contractors for your brand, that you're able to maintain the integrity and the viability of your brand with those clients, right? And then this is a big one. You can create as many digital products as you want. That doesn't mean you're going to sell and you're going to make revenue, right? You have to have an offer launch strategy. You have to be able to introduce to the market in a way that's not sleazy, annoying, and stupid, right? I'm sorry, I'm just getting straight to the point. I've seen so many people just blast random offers every single day. There's one person that was on my email list that literally almost every day she had a new product. And I'm like, what are you getting at? And I will tell you, actually really hurt her brand. At least for me, I'm consistent, right? I talk about personal branding, public speaking, and entrepreneurship. Very consistent. So you don't feel like I'm just throwing random products like, yo, how to sell a cooking stove, right? Like, be very considerate about how you launch products to the market. And when you're good at that, how do you continue? People know I consistently show up to do workshops and webinars and sessions and content because I'm passionate about this. So there's consistency, right? And of course, working with other partners to monetize your expertise through other brands. Okay. So let's look at this a little bit more. I want to go back a little bit because yesterday we talked about how to grow your brand. And one of the things that we were talking about is like how to grow your brand consistently, because right now, one of the things I told you about in terms of the trend that's happening right now on the internet is that trust is broken. So now, in order to be able to convert someone into a client, remember I shared with you that it's a lot harder now, right? It's not that you're doing anything wrong. It's that people now need to see more of you, get you, feel you, like you before they want to work with you, right? So the Google study is 7-11-4, which is they need to see 7 hours of content, have 11 different touch points across your personal brand, right? So content variation, and be able to discover you in 4 different areas. So what does that look like? So 7 hours of content. So right now I am doing 4 hours of content through this summit. Really about 5 hours if you think about some of the days that I go over. And I'm also doing info sessions, pre-sessions. So just with this summit alone, I'm tackling the 7 hours for you to make a decision whether you vibe me or not and want to work with me, right? 11 different touch points. I've sent different emails. I've did posts about it. I've done messages about it. 11 different touch points. And where you probably discover me, you probably saw me talk about this through LinkedIn, my website, my Instagram, right? So this is something that a lot of entrepreneurs are realizing, that if you don't have multiple touch points and showing people your thought leadership on a consistent basis for hours on end, where people could binge, learn from you, and see that if you're the real deal, it's not going to work for you. So money the easy way is not working. So I see a lot of people are doing automated funnels and like, oh, just put something there and you don't have to interact with anyone. Listen, if you think that in 2025, you're not going to interact with your clients and your audience to build trust and build a relationship, like, good luck. Good luck. That's why you got to do content that really resonates with you, that you're excited about. So that way you want to show up for your audience, right? I'm really surprised that the advice that's being given on the internet that you don't need to really interact with people as much anymore. I think it's really stupid, right? Why wouldn't you want to interact with people? That's how you learn and grow, to see what they need and keep optimizing your value proposition. Like, even for me, this personal brand accelerator program is going through its 3rd iteration right now. Those of you who've been clients of mine through the personal brand accelerator, please comment if you've been a client through a personal brand workshop or a personal brand accelerator program. You probably see that there's another level of iteration that I'm doing, because as I grow, not only my thought leadership, but as I grow in how I ease information to you as an audience, right? I want to bring that information to you immediately. Only someone who's excited and passionate about a subject matter and passionate about the growth of their clients is able to do that. Okay. So with that said, this is a study. So let's talk about revenues pass, right? When it comes to monetizing your brand, there's so many different ways to do it, but some of the common ways that people are monetizing their brands is through consulting. That's probably the most easiest and fastest way to do it, right? Where you just put out there on LinkedIn that, hey, like, you are having consulting sessions for this price for 1 hour. Boom, boom, boom. They go on Calendly link, and they're able to book time with you, and boom, you're starting generating revenue. The fastest way to start making money, right? 2 is coaching, where you get a client and you say, okay, I can work with you for a month. I can work for you for 3 months. This is the charge for me to get you to an end result. That's coaching. Okay. Courses is like you teach something once and people are able to access that in multiple ways. Conferences, which is one of my favorites, is a live event experience where people are able to interact with you in the flesh and be able to have a collective experience with other people in the room, experiencing your expertise live on stage. That was my fastest way to 6 figures, by the way, with my personal brand, which makes sense because my stage presence, for those of you who see me speak at events before, my stage presence is very, very strong. And I'm very passionate when I get on the mic, right? For some people, it's content flow, right? They're, working on content and selling content, and that's how they're able to monetize their brand. Apologies, I'm just grabbing this right now, right? Brand partnerships is a big one. Is when you're working with other affiliate companies or projects. I do this a lot. I work with a lot of different corporate partners over the years, right? And funny enough, I will try to do more to outreach more partners, but I've been really blessed with the fact that a lot of them do come to me through my DMs on LinkedIn, through relationships that I've built with my business and my company. So brand partnerships are very lucrative, but also very eye-opening, at least for me, in expanding your worldview of what's possible when it comes to monetizing your personal brand. Really, really cool. Contract RFPs. There are many different people who monetize their brand by looking at RFP contracts where they're looking for speakers, facilitators, expert, etc. And that's how they monetize. Sponsorships, collaborations. The big one right now is podcast revenue. A lot of people are monetizing through podcasting right now, right? Because you build a real long-term relationship with your audience through podcasting, and you're able to convert that very easily, right? So these are some of the revenue paths. Now, here's where people get stuck. I could tell you all day long, here are all the different ways to monetize your personal brand. Very simple, very easy. Okay, launch a course, do a consulting session, coach a client, blah, blah, blah. But here's where people lose the opportunity of really figuring this out, because people don't really talk about how to go from revenue paths to revenue cycles, where you figure out what's the best medium. And this is what we teach you in the Personal Brand Accelerator. What's the best medium for you to monetize your personal brand based on your expertise? And I want to share with you the 3 big ones that really help drive revenue, again, on a consistent basis. This is what's going to change the paradigm. You can screenshot this slide because this is a very important slide. This is where we go beyond monetizing randomly to now monetizing consistently throughout the year in a way that really helps you schedule and organize yourself in a consistent way. Okay. So content channel, this is a big one. This is where you are literally having daily to weekly communication conversations via social media, via maybe your newsletter blast, via maybe podcast episodes or YouTube episodes. This is where on a consistent basis, you're putting out content and leveraging that content to bring your audience together and then sell something and convert. A lot of people advise that you come here, but a lot of people, it's very hard for them to maintain this and do this right out the gate. I actually don't recommend content channeling for generating revenue because not a lot of people have the mental capacity or the load to be able to do this immediately out the gate when it comes to monetizing their brand. But this is a channel to create a revenue cycle rhythm with your personal brand throughout the year. Okay, so this is one. Second is what we call a conversion event. How many of you have seen a conversion event? I'm actually doing a conversion event right now as we speak, right? Right? So conversion event is where you go on live monthly to quarterly, teaching or coaching something in the form of a webinar or masterclass, an event, a workshop, some type of live launch event. And again, I'm doing this right now as we speak because Like I said, I already told you over the past 2 days, people are converting and purchasing my course, my personal brand accelerator program, my personal brand fellowship. It's not me being sleazy. It's me coming up, showing you my skill set, showing you my talent, showing you what I'm able to do for you if you work for me. And in the course of this event, many of you who are ready to take action and are ready to really be intentional will convert at this event because you get immense value from this. Because this entire event, by the way, was once a damn course, guys. I used to charge for this content. I did workshops live in New York City at our office, and I charged upwards of $1,000 for people to come and listen to me go over this content live in person. When I get corporate clients where I expand this content, usually 2 hours a day over the course of 3 days, I get booked 5 figures and above for this content. This is immense value that I'm bringing to you. This is why this is called a conversion event. Because for many of you, like, yo, this is what she knows and she's providing to us for free through this free virtual summit. What would it look like working with her offline through her accelerator program, through her fellowship for an entire year? Where would I be as a client if I work for her for an extended period of time and not just 4 days? That is the power of a conversion event. And this is what I usually recommend to people who come through my personal brand accelerator program, is to do a conversion event, because one, the frequency is less. You could do about 6 or 7 of these per year, right? For some people, maybe 4 per year. You're able to build towards it, and you're able to show yourself in the most authentic way, which is live video, right? Because people are not only hearing you, they're seeing you. They're seeing your energy. They're seeing your vibe. Are you confident as you're speaking? Are you looking at notes? Are you struggling to go through your worksheet and through your whatever, right? Are you comfortable? Like, guys, like, I had my, my charger almost kill my, my laptop yesterday. You just saw me just vibe like, hey, right? People are looking at all of this when you go live on video, because there's certain things like you could post something on social media and blast it all day long, but when someone's watching you for hours on end on live video, they're making decisions. Okay, so a conversion event. And the last one is community management. This is where for annually you are consistently managing a community of followers who are literally accessing you throughout the year because they want access to your thought leadership or your resources on a monthly, weekly, quarterly, or annual basis. Okay, so these are the 3 revenue cycles. This is what helps you have consistency in your personal brand portfolio throughout the year. This is the damn secret. Okay, everyone on the internet will focus on this. You can make money this way and this way, this way. No one is talking to you about these things, right? This is where, for those of you who join the personal brand accelerator program after today or the fellowship, this is where you're going to get your money's worth. Just this session alone will help you not only to make your ROI and monetize and make your investment from the program, but it will change how you manage your schedule and how you manage your reputation and make and generate revenue for the rest of your life. This is a secret, and this is the eye-opening slide that I wanted to share with you guys so you understand the power of looking at where are your strengths and weaknesses, where can you capitalize on in terms of monetizing your brand, and what medium do you want to do this now. And for some people, I always look at their multi-year track. When we come and work with me for the accelerated program or the fellowship, I'm not just looking at 2025. We're looking at the blueprint for the next 10 years. Maybe next year will be a great time to do a content channel revenue stream. Maybe the following year we get to community management. Maybe you're like, look, you want to be bold and do all 3 in 1 year. We look at your strengths and weaknesses and see what is possible, what is doable, what is manageable, and what we should go for, right? This is what I want to make sure that you understand in terms of revenue cycles. Now, let's go back to the fundamentals. When you launch a digital product where you are packaging your expertise into a digital product, and I notice I say digital product because there's multiple ways to extend value for time. Consulting and coaching is time for money, but digital products are very timeless. It's you taking your experience and your journey that gave you a unique perspective and a skill set, and you're packaging that not into an information product. Information is dead. No one needs to know what to do. They want to know how to do it. I want to say this again. Some of you are trying to create courses to tell people what they already know. You can monetize your brand in 7 different ways. Don't matter. I just did it just now. The value is not me just telling you, here are all the different ways to make money. The value was me telling you, here's how to do it consistently. There's a difference. So going back to this conversation about monetizing your personal brand, what people are paying for, especially in this economy where people have been duped, played, and lied to, and are pissed off. I'm banging this thing on the bottom, right? Is them learning your secrets, your strategies, your tactics, your tips, your blueprint. When people come through my programs, I tell them what they need to know, and I show them, here's how I did it, and this is why it worked. And this is why it will work for you, because it's completely contradictory than what people are telling you in the market. This is what we call an insider secret, a strategy, a tactic that will make you stand out from the crowd and stand out from the competition. Okay. That's what you're packaging into a product, and that's what people want to pay for. Are we following? Okay. So when we're teaching you how to create products that really motivate and inspire your audience, that's what you're trying to create. And eventually, we teach you how to actually create a value ladder where you're not just generating revenue from one product, but multiple products, and how you grow someone into your community. First and foremost, you start with giving them free value. Okay. You got to do it. I've heard too many people say that, oh, you shouldn't have to do that. Just start charging your value. Listen, what I will tell you, what you get when people come into your market for free, like for example, this free live event, is that you learn the issues that they're dealing with, so that way you could create better services and better products. So for me, that is priceless. Me being able to know what I need to do to serve my audience better not only helps me to know them better, but guess what? My selfish candid remark on this is that I make more money, right? Because through this program, I get thousands of people to sign up. I get to see what they need. I optimize my product. So something that was generating, let's say, 5 figures is now generating 6 figures, simply because I put myself out there to add value, practice my skill set, get energized, get excited, interact with the people that I want to serve, come back to the drawing board, revamp my program, and make more money, create more impact, and generate more positive lifestyles and value for people. Are we getting this? Right? Stop listening to people who are telling you don't do shit for free. Stop it. They're lying. Right? Do things with a mindset of service, because I promise you, you become a better teacher, a better mentor, a better coach, a better freaking person, because you learn at the end of that, it's not always about the money because of it. At the end of that, you find that you are finding the parts of the content and the parts of the value that you're bringing that brings you joy. So for me, I light up talking about personal branding, but you could tell what I light up about is telling people how to make money authentically. So I light up talking about this part, right? So these are things that, you need to be very clear on, that there's a lot of gurus who are telling you things that are lies, and you got to be able to decipher what type of brand do you want to put out there. One that the only way for people to work with you is they have to get through a paywall, or one that people are able to grow and learn for you and be able to make a decision to not invest in themselves to go beyond that. That's a better brand reputation build than anything else. So once you have that, a free program to get people through the door, to get to know you, build trust, resonate with you, then you give them a small offer for them to take a tiny investment, right? Some of my quickest workshops are around $297, $497, right? And then they start to grow. And I have clients who are literally, anytime I announce something, they join in. Right? Anytime I'm growing my product lineup, they join in. So they're like literally clients for life. And I always tell them, I want to be your mentor for life. Right? And so with that said, this is the value ladder experience that many of you will create through this program to be able to add value in a way that consistently not only grows your brand, but grows the value and the development of your clients. Okay? So hopefully that makes sense. And this is an example of my product suite. I have retreats, I have accelerated programs, I have summits, right? There's multiple ways to add value, right? And for me, how I build that launch cycle of monetizing, I post on social media, I teach through webinar lives or sessions like this, I offer my product, and the cycle just continues. It's boring, guys. My business model of monetizing my personal brand is boring, and that's a good thing. That's how you know that you are generating revenue consistently, because it's just like rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And what happens when your business model becomes boring, you find the areas where you can have fun, which is show up like this and just talk, right? And engage, right? This is why I get to have fun, because the business model of generating the revenue comes simply. But my excitement is like, oh, what should I talk to them about today? Who should I call out today? What should I emphasize? Like, I now get the excitement and the joy of, let me create a workbook that I know that can help them, right? Let me start talking about, this topic. Let me tell them like what the hell is going on in the economy, the trends. I get to have fun showing up, because the business model, the general revenue, I know what the formula is. I show up for 4 days. This amount of people sign up. This amount of people convert. So all I got to do is just show up and just be myself, right? And thank you for that wonderful comment, right? This is where you want to get to, where it's not a hustle anymore, guys. You do not have to hustle to build and grow and monetize your personal brand. It could be very enlightening, I will tell you. What I love about this process is that not only do you discover things about yourself, because you have to understand, when you have people learning from you, it forces you to have introspection, right? It forces you to really think about your faults and your weaknesses in a way that you have to be very objective, okay? And what really starts to happen, and this is something that I, and maybe my person is like this, but I will say this, I'm not afraid to teach my lows, my losses, my vulnerable side. I don't always come up here and tell you like, oh, I got everything figured out. I tell you, like, guys, this is where I effed up. This is where I went wrong. So don't do this, but do this, right? You start to get comfortable with every facet of your journey, because the goal that you have at the end of the day is to make sure that that person who's on the other side of that conversation is growing and developing because they heard what you had to say. And for a lot of you forget that some people, they might resonate more with your message over anyone else, because for some reason they resonate with your voice, your brand, your reputation, your story, your background. Some of you, there's so many people you don't realize that need to hear it from you and not anybody else. Right? So this cycle that I'm sharing with you, it keeps things very simple, but also, like I said, it helps you manifest your calling on this planet. And I know that I am literally in flow when I'm here with you guys. I feel that I'm in flow. I have fun. I already told you guys on the first day of the summit, I was actually sick. I was under the weather. But you wouldn't be able to tell that because I'm in flow. So even in my worst format, I'm excited. Does that make sense? Right? You ever do you guys have anything that gets you excited where it doesn't feel like work anymore? It's like, hey guys, I'm here and I want to show this to you, right? Like that for me is my hope for many of you, that as you're growing your personal brand, you're learning this, through these conversations that you're having, that you're seeing that there's multiple ways to grow and develop yourself and make money while doing it, right? So with that said, going back to launching this, what we do at the Personal Brand Accelerator program and throughout the fellowship is we help you do a series of experiments and experiment very, very fast so you can start generating revenue and testing out the market as quickly as possible. You guys know my brand archetype. I'm the hero one, where I got that just do it attitude, where guys, we're gonna go out. Like, but what about my title? We're gonna go. What about that? We're gonna go. Let's do it. Right? I'm going to push you and be like, listen, if you don't launch that damn webinar, okay, comment if you've been a client of mine and you work with me and you know how I am, right? We're like, look, we're going to put the webinar out there, right? Because what happens is, like, once you put yourself out there, right? And thank you so much, Leah. That was very kind of you, right? You are able to see, oh, people like this part. So let me double down on this. Oh, people really hated that. So let me just like take a step back from that. You start to see not only how people are reacting to your content, but you also start to see the things that you don't even want to touch anymore. You're just like, I didn't feel comfortable talking about this, right? So you're growing with the market is growing with you. So we get into a series of testing, and we start with webinars, by the way. I'm going to tell you the secret. We start with webinars, and I show you how to format the webinar, how to launch the webinar, the time of the webinar, the platform to use for the webinar. So it's not costly. It's very cheap. $0 to do so, right? I show you through the program how to just get out there and test the market and start generating revenue immediately, right? And generating credibility immediately. So some of you, you might be shy as hell and you're like, look, I don't know if I could do this. So I'm like, okay, we could do an audio podcast. But the point is, like, we put you out there so you can also discover the parts of your experience and journey. And a lot of programs don't offer this. They'll tell you just create a course, but they don't show you the evolution of how to test the market so that way you get comfortable to create something that's actually lucrative and profitable and sustainable. Okay, so we go into a series of testing. Okay, now let's talk about product creation. For the interest of time, I'm going to firestorm through this. But during the program, we always say you start with one product, not multiple, one damn product. Okay, right? Thank you so much, Ellie. That's a beautiful comment. Making money from growing and developing yourself. Love that. Right? One product. I hear so many girls like, I have this product, I have this product, I have this product, this product. Listen, when things are complicated, you're not able to scale. Complexity, I said this, complexity kills, simplicity scales. Okay? The simpler you make your life, the easier it is for you to grow and manifest what you need to do. Some of you are not able to manifest your calling because you are juggling multiple things. You are stressing yourself out and you're getting frustrated, right? Take a step back. One product is all you need. I will tell you, it was one product that got me to 6 figures in a year. One product. One. And I will tell you, when I made I was like $111,000 with one conference event with my personal brand. I said, God damn it. I've been hustling all my life way too hard. Okay. I was pissed off with myself. Right. So I want to tell you, less is more. So we got a quick question. When you said stop listening to people who tell you not to do stuff for free, do things with a mindset of service, you will become a better leader, a better person. That was the whole sermon. Thank you so much. Right? And also look at what incentives people have to tell you to do things a certain freaking way as well. Right? Question everything. We are in the trust recession. Question every damn thing. Because your instinct will tell you what serves you best in terms of what you actually want to do, right? And so going back to this conversation of like being very strategic and simple in your approach is so important, guys. Like, I'm like fired up today. I'm just like, yo, like, I have so many regrets on how I tried to monetize my personal brand in the beginning of my career that I'm like, listen, I'm telling you guys the business. First and foremost, get to webinar testing as quickly as possible. I just said that that's the first secret I gave you. That's $1 million check just right there. The second thing I'm telling you is do not do multiple products. One. So at the program, in the Personal Brand Accelerator program, we're like, no, one. You might be like, but I want to try this. I don't know what topic. One. Oh, but I have 3 different ideas. I wanted to. No, one. Okay? One. Uno. That is it. No más, no less. One. Because what happens is when you are able to cultivate that one product, you are able to optimize it, and it's easier for you to promote and engage and share. And then people start to refer you for that product. You became known for that. So here's what we do in the program. We talk about the title. And in the title, when we talk about the description, this is probably the biggest one. During this session, right, or during this course, you'll be able to do what is the benefit within how long, because people want to know, because the biggest currency people have right now is not money. That you guys were dropping 5K on this fellowship program just yesterday, right? So money is not the thing for you guys. It's time, right? So people want to know, if you're going to give them a value proposition, how long will it take for them to grow and develop with you, right? And what are they going to get? What is the outcome of them working to finally be able to X, Y, Z? I always give these templates because a lot of people like to overthink things and drive their mind wild when it's not that deep. It's very, very simple. It's not that hard, guys, okay? You will find that all I do all day long is look at what your issues is and your challenge. But okay, you're doing the most. Let's bring it back to size. Let's relax. One sentence. The description of your product, what's going to make the person convert. During this session or during this course, you'll be able to monetize your personal brand within 90 days or less to finally be able to have multiple revenue streams. I just did it just right now. That is my course, which is the Accelerator program. Did you guys hear that? You see how easy that was? And for those of you who heard that sentence, you're like, yeah, I can get behind that. That's what I need. You are able to make a decision because a confused buyer does not buy. Are you following? So if you're saying like, well, we'll be able to do 20 modules and then we'll do 10 sessions. Have you noticed when I promote my accelerator programs and my fellowship, I don't talk to you about the training modules and all, because whether I do in 5 modules or 2 modules or 3 modules or 20, that's not the value that you're getting. What the value you're getting is what you're going to get outside of the program. Are we following here? I want to make sure that you guys are here with me. Comment course if you get what I'm saying about the simplicity of creating a course and creating that message. And this is where I tell you, you will start to know if the market is ready for this product simply with a Canva flyer. I will not teach you to go back to the drawing board and start creating that course before you get your first client. You will test the market first, and then you start creating the product. This, by the way, is the best entrepreneurial business model on the planet. The best one. To be able to only deliver on a product when you get a paying customer first is amazing. Because a lot of business is built on giving a service or product first before you get paid. Whereas this one, you're creating demand first before you create the product. And that demand, let's say you get 10 people sign up for this course before you even start. You tell people, okay, I'm launching this course. Today is like, January. I'm launching this course in February. And you get people signing up for the course in 2 weeks. They're asking questions. They're giving you follow-up. So guess what? Now you're customizing the course based on the feedback of the clients that you're about to serve. Hello. Now you're not only creating something that's valuable, you're creating something that they actually need. So guess what? When they go through their program, they are not only happy, they're like, yo, this was exactly what I needed. Okay? So that is the process that we teach you in the program. All right? Last but not least, I want to ask you guys this. What is your 2025 profit plan with your personal brand? How are you going to make money this year? Tell me in the chat. How are you going to make money with your personal brand this year? Tell me. Right, come there. How are you going to make money with your personal brand? Someone said a course. Okay, let's keep going. And I'm asking you this because some of you, I could tell you again, all the different ways to do this, but then you just don't know where to begin. And that's a problem. Right? So here are the 5 buckets I usually tell people that people try to monetize their personal brand. The first 3 are essentially around crowd conversion. That's the events, like I told you. So live events, conferences, retreats, programs, and workshops, right? It's a production involved, but it's an event. Content sales. So that's, courses, ebooks, webinars, such and such, or community memberships, where it's year-round value and access. All of this are internal. Self-directed monetization. You don't need to depend on an institution. You could go live. And this is really important that you have the right mix of this, because this is, again, what we teach in the program. You never want your personal brand to be dependent on external factors. You don't want that. You want to be able to say like, yo, I'm going to generate 6 figures this year because I know I could generate 6 figures because I aligned my strategy along these 3 buckets. Does that make sense? Right? So you can control that. Now, if you look at bucket 4 and 5, these are external, right? Because now we're talking about corporate clients. So that's speaking engagements. People got to book you to speak. If people are not booking you to speak, you're not making money, right? Brand deals, brand partnerships. I have plenty of brand deals and partnerships, right? But if one of the brands says, hey, we're not continuing with the partnership next month, there goes the revenue streams, right? And then the second one is contract requests. This is consulting, coaching services, gig opportunities with external parties, right? Where you're doing contracting, right? But these 5 buckets help you have a profitable personal brand. So you got to do a mix, because I will say the corporate and contract ones are a lot more lucrative. A lot of my corporate revenue are 6 figures and above, which is amazing, right? Because when I get them, I'm happy as hell, because I'm like, I'm good. I'm going to hit my target for the quarter. Okay. But while they're more lucrative, they're also very risky when it comes to ensuring that you have a secure, sustainable, profitable personal brand for the year, right? I'm loving the comments right now. You guys are telling me where you feel is the best way to monetize your personal brand this year. This is good. Okay. So with that said, every year might be different. So my value formula, which is like how I monetized my personal brand in 2018, which is about like 7 years ago now, was predominantly through conferences. So I actually did one major conference that made me 6 figures. And I'm like, I'm cool. Right. And I did a couple of content sales where I was selling digital courses and a couple of, corporate contracts with LinkedIn and MasterCard that year, which was pretty cool. Right. But I hit my 6-figure goal with one event. Okay. With one event, I was able to do that. Okay. So that was very enlightening for me because 2018, at the time, I had the energy to do a conference. I loved it. This is what I want to do. But however, in 2023, my conversion formula looked a little bit different. So I was actually on maternity leave that year, also on a sabbatical after having our 4th child in our family. And I predominantly focused on my course sales. So 55% of our revenue came from course sales that year for my personal brand. It was amazing. Okay. I launched a membership model. I did one small micro event, but it was virtual. It wasn't in person. And I got a lot more corporate contracts that year because of the contest sales, funny enough, was triggering visibility for the corporate revenue. Okay. And that was my revenue formula for 2023. So for some of you, this is the reason why I said, like, during the program, we help you plan out the next couple of years, because for some of you, we're looking at, okay, are you going to be doing family planning next year? Are you going to be traveling next year? Are you going to relocate? We look at what your lifestyle is and how to map out the best way to monetize your brand based on the schedule and the things that you have aligned for the year. This is how deep we go in the program, guys. Right? So you see how beautiful, how it's okay to have a change in strategy. But again, once you know the strategies are available to you, you do what works best for you. So I already showed you my 2018 was very different than my 2023. I'm telling you right now, my 2025 is already looking different than my 2023 and my 2018. There are periods of time where my 2019, I remember my 2020, my 2021, and 2022 was exactly the same. Are we following? The shift actually happened in 2023, right? But the point is you having the confidence to know no matter what structure you create for yourself, you're able to do that. Make sense? And obviously we have platforms that we use, but we start with looking at spreadsheets. We plan out the year. We'll look at the forecast, how much money you're going to be able to generate per year. Right. And I look at my core product suite just for my digital products alone. I'm able to generate. This was one of the years where I was able to see, okay, I could forecast about close to 350K just through my courses. And then when I look at, just free experimental products, is going to be about 71,000. So, by the way, to be doing experiments and generating 71,000 for that, I think it's pretty cool. Right? Because you don't know where it's going to come out. The things that I know would make money, I knew what it would be. The ones that I know will be experiments that I'm launching. This is what I'm saying. Like, you also get to a state where you are also experimenting every single year as well to see the boundaries of your capacity and what excites you when it comes to creating value and packaging your expertise. So that's something that we also talk about in the Personal Brand Accelerator program, is discovering where you want to go with your personal brand every single year. Okay. And it's really fun, by the way, because you're running these experiments and you're making money with these experiments as well. Okay. So with that said, I do want to conclude by again inviting you guys to go through this journey with me, either for a full month beyond the summit for the Personal Brand Accelerator program and get live coaching from me, right? Which includes a private one-on-one session. And the bonus for those of you who are on this session, you'll get 2 private one-on-one sessions with me if you're doing the Personal Brand Accelerator program, just because you went through this Personal Brand Summit, or work with me for an entire year through the Personal Brand Fellowship. I want you to ask yourself, where do you think you will be 1 year from now if you had me as your corner, me as your mentor, coaching you through this process of self-discovery and self-development to see the other side of your potential, not only how to really define your personal brand, but grow it in a way that's lucrative and profitable and is purposeful driven. What would it look like a year from now? What would January 2026, what will you be telling people about your year in January 2026. I hope for some of you it's not the struggle and the madness that happened in 2024. I hope for many of you is that 2025 was the year that everything changed and that everything changed for the better. That is my hope and my aspiration for many of you, right? So share with you already the investment. For those of you who need more information, I will share again the link on the thread for you guys to be able to sign up to join. Because enrollment will at the discounted rate will close this Friday at the end of the program session. Okay, so just sharing that with you. But this is an amazing opportunity for you to take action and do this. Okay, tomorrow will be the last day of the summit. This is where we get really good about how to scale your personal brand and manage it. And a lot of people love this, not just because we're just talking about monetization, but now we're talking about time management, project management, and how to decide on a brand partnership, how to decide on a contract, how to decide whether to do this conference or not, or whether you should launch a course. These are the questions we're going to be answering tomorrow. And it's going to be extremely helpful to all of you. Comment on the chat if today was useful for you, if you gained any value today. I would love to get some feedback and comments from you guys because I know we are out of time. Any questions or comments, I could probably take them immediately. Or I can share on the thread because I know we are out of time. The Facebook link again for you to ask questions, and I will go on it live to answer questions for any of you guys who still have questions. Because I know today was an intense session of content and information, so hopefully it served you well. But any feedback or questions, comments are welcome right now. And like I said, just to reiterate, today was all about monetization and how to monetize in a way that's fruitful, lucrative, sustainable, and simple. And I hope that you got a window into how I was able to do it over the years and how you could be able to do it immediately and seeing immense change in your journey. And thank you so much. I love the feedback that's coming in already. Danielle, you are amazing as well. I really appreciate the feedback, right? So without further ado, then let me just give you guys your time back. Again, I never not answer every single question. So if you have a question, I know time is out, put it on the Facebook group. I will get to it as soon as possible. And especially once I invite you guys to join me beyond the summit. Let's make this count. Let's make this the year that you have been waiting for to manifest your goals and aspirations. I cannot wait to be a mentor and a coach and a cheerleader for you this year. I look forward to seeing you guys on the other side. I'll see you guys same time, same place tomorrow. And let's go get them, guys. See you soon. Bye, everyone. To the Personal Brand Accelerator program. We're going to talk about really the who, what, when, where, how of personal branding. Personal branding in many ways is an ongoing process, right? Because you are practicing, you're developing, you're manifesting yourself over time as you grow and develop as a person within your career. Today, we're transitioning from the personal branding fundamentals to now building your personal branding foundation, right? You can't position yourself for opportunity unless you understand your motivations and what is your capacity. Now, at the very beginning, you should always be experimenting with your brand and engaging with the world, just trying to find out, okay, what experiments do you need to run to see where you need to be. There are a million different ways to make money with your personal brand, but you either got to do what is your biggest strength right now, right? Or you do where the most resources are available. A lot of people, when they're trying to monetize their personal brand, they focus on bucket 4 and 5. right? Where they're working with people to get speaking engagements, contracts. You're doing a lot of external activities to get that clout from the community to pay you for certain works. A lot of times people confuse marketing and sales to be the same thing, right? This is the reason why a lot of people, they have a personal brand. Let's say they got as far as they create a free or paid product like a course or a retreat or a session, and they're putting it out there. They're quote unquote marketing it. They're promoting it. They're blasting it, but they're not monetizing. They're not making money. And part of the reason why is because they did not combine their marketing strategy with their sales strategy. But I could give you all the systems all day long, but it's up to you to turn it into a routine. And that does require checklists. It does require you really having the discipline to execute on that routine. So much has happened over the past couple of weeks. You have learned so much from start to finish. The best way I could end this is by saying that, look, like, a lot of people wait their entire life to try to figure this out. You have the unique opportunity where you have this content for life, right? You have this journey for life where you are now given a blueprint to constantly keep upping your brand, keep accelerating your career, keep creating value, and also creating multiple streams of income for yourself in addition to any of the fundamental work that you do.